Hi everyone, this is Yana, and today I'm going to be working with a few dies from the Die-Cember die release from Simon Says Stamp, and I will be making a sweet Valentine's Day card you see on the screen. It's not even Christmas yet, but I felt really inspired to create a non-Christmas card as I feel I already have enough of those for this year. I might go back and make some more later, but today I wanted to make a Valentine's Day card. I'm going to be working with the following products, and all of these are linked in my video description and also on my blog. So I have these two large tags. The size is just perfect for an A2 card. I'm only going to be using one though, the one with the rounded top. I also have a Valentine's Day stamp set from Simon, and I plan to use this Sending Lots of Love Your Way, this Valentine's Day stamp. It fits perfectly onto the tag. Now, there are lots of other great sentiments in this set, but I happen to like this one in particular. Next is the white striped cling background stamp, also from Simon. I just love it. It probably is my most favorite background stamp of all times. It is so very simple and trendy at the same time, and I think it goes well with just about any card or just about any theme. Now, if you don't have a stamp like that, you can always make a striped background yourself with the help of masking and some pigment ink, or you can even use dye ink for that too. But it's always nice to have a stamp and just go ahead and stamp it. It does save some time. I'm also going to be using the silver Delicata ink for my stamping, and it is by far one of the best silver inks out there. It's very rich and creamy, and you do get that silver shimmer, not just that dull gray color like a lot of other inks have. So I'm just going to ink up the portion of my background. Since I'm making an A2 card, I don't need to ink the entire stamp. And by the way, this stamp is 6 by 6 inches. I only need to ink a portion that is large enough to fit my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of cardstock. Now, whenever I'm stamping large backgrounds like this, I like to lay my paper on top of the stamp and use my brayer, and simply apply even pressure to my paper. You can also do this with your hands. You don't need to have a brayer for this, but I think the brayer helps me to keep my backgrounds nice and clean, as this way I don't press too hard and don't get ink where it's not supposed to be. Next, I'm going to die cut a tag out of pale pink cardstock on my Artisan Explorer machine. I love using this machine because it's small and it sits nicely on my table. I do have a small space here, so it's definitely a plus for me. Now, after my tag is cut, I'm going to prep it for heat embossing by using an anti-static powder pouch. Then ink up my stamp with clear embossing ink. I'm using the mini ink pad from Ranger. It came in my December card kit from Simon Says Stamp, and then simply stamp this lovely sentiment onto my tag. Then add white embossing powder from Hero Arts and heat set it with my heat tool. After my tag is done, I'm going to trim my stamped panel onto a slightly smaller one. I'm going to use my Spellbinders Matting Basics die for this. You can use your paper trimmer, but mine has a very dull blade, so I've gotten into a habit of using these Spellbinders dies instead. Now, to also somehow diversify my background, I decided to add zigzag stitching along each of the stamped lines. I used my sewing machine and cream thread for this. It took me about 5 minutes to add my stitching. Now I'm just going to pull thread to the back and secure all loose ends with a piece of tape. I also wanted to add a few drops of silver shimmer ink, so I used this fun product from Spellbinders and simply added a few drops going diagonally onto my stamped background. Now, the drops of ink that got onto the silver stamped stripes did not want to dry, and that's because pigment ink dries on top of the paper. So that silver Delicata ink created something like a protective coating that prevented this liquid silver ink from going into the paper. To fix that, I simply used a paper towel and just soaked all of that extra ink up. I also decided to die cut a few more tags, one out of gray cardstock, and this is the same shape as the pink tag, and also another one out of white cardstock. For the white one, I used a different die, which creates sort of like an outline tag with some fun outline hearts. Very cute. I'm now going to glue the little die cut tag reinforcer, which I created using that same sweetheart tag, and then tie all of my 3 tags together with a bit of white floss, and then tie that into a small bow. Now, my tags are not glued together, they're only tied. This gives them the option to move and slide to the side, revealing the other tags behind. Next, I'm simply going to adhere my stamped and stitched background onto a card base using white foam squares and also attach my tags. So this finishes my card for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you're looking for a list of supplies to create this project, you can find it in the video description on YouTube and also on my blog. If you'd like to watch more videos using stamps and dies from Simon Says Stamp, please click the link you see on the screen. Thanks! And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I have new videos coming out every week. Thanks and bye!